So before this interview gets underway, I have a little bit of an update about Under the Blue. Yes, Linda Ludwig and James Curle, the directors of Under the Blue, got in touch with me today, which is the 23rd of May, to tell me that the short movie Under the Blue is over in Cannes right now at the Cannes Film Festival and has won the Best Short Film Jury Prize at the American Pavilion Emerging Filmmaker Showcase, which is awesome. And this is the second time they have won this incredible award, the 2018 Man of the Hour. So the second time they've won this award, but again, that's another big award from Cannes to go along with some of the awards that they are nominated for at Romford. So let's hope they do well there too. Let's get into the interview. Romford Film Festival is incoming. It is inbound. Unfortunately, I'm not there, as you all know, so I'm doing all these remote interviews, which I'm absolutely loving. It's given me a chance to really dive into these projects a little bit more. But Friday, the 24th of May through to the 28th of May, which is the Tuesday, we are showing hundreds of shorts and features. We've got some amazing projects. I definitely think this is the strongest year we've had since I've been involved. But today, for this interview, for this chat, I am talking to the cast and crew of the short movie Under the Blue, which is playing on Sunday, the 26th of May, 7 p.m. through to 9:30 over on Screen 7. How is everyone this morning or this afternoon or wherever you are?
Very good, thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah, very well, thank you.
Excellent. I've been looking forward to this one because if there's two things I love in my movies, as everyone will know, I'm a very dialogue-driven kind of guy. And I'm a very, if somebody can make me feel a certain type of way, then you've got all the boxes ticked. And this movie made me feel several different certain kinds of way. So, guys, I'm stoked to be chatting to you. What I'm going to do first is we're going to go around the boxes and do me a favor and introduce yourself a little bit and give us a little bit of a background on how you came into this industry. Don't all jump at once.
Should we start then?
Yeah, we'll start.
So Linda and I met at university on a film course, and that's sort of how we started doing things together. Our sort of early work were little jobs we were doing on the side whilst studying, and then as soon as we graduated, we kind of hit the ground running, doing various projects and whatnot until, over the years we are where we are today.
Yeah, we've now worked together for about 10 years, almost 10 years as writers and directors.
And I'm always interested in the how co-directing works. How does it work for you guys? Is there like a bit of to and fro in? Is it like, no, I'm the director today, no, you are?
It's a little bit like if you've ever seen Toy Story. It's like those aliens in the they have like a kind of a hive mind. It's a little bit like that. So we sort of seem to be one director, two bodies seems to be the best description.
Yeah.
And then occasionally we disagree.
Yeah. We keep those disagreements usually to the prep process. So hopefully Ed and Steph won't have any stories of disagreements when they'll probably be the best gauge of explaining the co-directing from the performance side of things, but we both talk to the actors, we both talk to the crew, so it's just a matter of whatever I'm not doing, James is doing, what James is not doing, I'm doing.
Awesome. And Ed, yourself, a little bit of background in how you're onto this.
I'm going to start saying things, and then Steph's just going to copy and paste what I say, because Steph and I have a very similar. The past 20 years have been quite similar for us. We both trained at the same college. We both did musical theatre, and then I did about 12 years of singing, acting, and dancing in the theatre, and then I switched over to screen stuff, which led me on to meeting Linda and James, and we worked together. 6 years ago. Oh no, longer, 7 years ago on Man of the Hour, which was Linda and James's debut short. So we worked together on that, and then when this came through, they asked me to get involved again. So that's how I got onto Under the Blue.
And of course, talking about a debut short, that's one hell of a debut short you guys came out with, and absolutely smashed it. By the way, Was it? It was the BAFTA qualifying. It was Oscar qualifying. It was. You guys smashed that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to shoot.
Yeah. It was actually, it got BAFTA longlisted, I think, in the process. So it did very, very well. Yeah.
Nice. And Steph?
Yeah, very similar journey to Ed. We trained at Arts Ed in musical theatre, worked in musical theatre for a fair few years, and then also switched to screen. But having a little musical theatre sabbatical now, gone back into that world for a little while. And it's what's really cool is that I'm kind of out of the country working on a musical, and then this is actually going on back home, and that's really exciting. I'm loving hearing all the news. That's just a side note. But yeah, so I met Linda and James similar time to Ed, actually. I wasn't in the country for Man of the Hour, so I wasn't involved in that project, but what an amazing film.
Yes, you were.
Oh, yes, I was. Yes, I did some singing. So I was a voice. I was a voice on Man of the Hour. Yes.
You were back for the VO work. You weren't there during the production process, so we couldn't cast you live in the film. So the best way to get Steph involved at that point was really the post-production work, was the VO work and doing some singing.
I mean, it feels like Steph was trying to throw a little bit of shade at you guys there.
No, it was my fault. I was out of the country, and then I remember them telling me that they'd written this film, Man of the Hour, and I was like, and then I was away, and then when I came back and it had all been filmed, and when I got to see this stunning piece that they created while I was away, and I was like, oh wow, I missed it, damn it.
So who wants to obviously directors, writer director, we've got Linda Ludwig and James Curle there. Why don't you guys tell me where the idea for Under the Blue came from, where the initial seed? I know it was based on a true story, but why did you guys want to flesh this out and tell this story?
It starts very anticlimactically sometime in lockdown, where we were. It was in those first summers where you could start meeting people outside, and we were having the first barbecue that was possible, very socially distanced, and that was when our friend, the police officer this is based on, started telling this story. And I remember James and I looked at each other at a certain point during that story, after that story, where we thought, that's the perfect short film. And so from that point we then started writing it, and we really started writing it with Steph and Ed in mind at that point already. Because obviously Steph had missed out on Man of the Hour, so she was due a role. And after working with Ed on Man of the Hour, we would always cast him again. So that was the writing process for that. We were looking at that story. So it's really what you're seeing in the film is really very much a true story adaptation of that one evening that really happened. But then with some things changed, some things added from other days that
so yeah, like a main baseline story that is the true event, and then pepperings of other true instances sort of adapted into that story.
And when you're putting this together, obviously you don't need to name your friend or the actual police officer, obviously, but were they involved in kind of the helping write and sort of bringing it true to form?
They were involved in all of the sort of like all of the technical aspects throughout the entire course of making the film. So from script, making sure that the script was a accurate retelling of the story, to helping us like when we needed to make certain artistic license choices to still enable to oversee that we were making decisions that were realistic to actual policing, and then throughout the whole everything from even down to Steph's costume, making sure all of the details and elements. In fact, some of Steph's costume is actually the real police officer's uniform. It's little bits here and there, from their actual what they actually wear.
Because it's interesting. It's one process that costume went through for us is that no off the shelf film hire, TV hire uniform comes 100% realistic. So all the elements that you see as part of Steph's costume, for example, were all brought in separately from police officers saying, oh, that's where I buy my trousers, or that's where I get my top from, and that's, you know, that's what it should look like, and this is how worn it should be, and this is how crumpled it should be. And this is where, you know, one little detail is that Steph wears her car keys on her radios. That's a very cop thing to do. So all those little things came in, and it wasn't just this true story police officer, but also, you know, police officer consulting all the way through, making sure down to the very last sound in the sound mixing that it's exactly like that radio would sound going out of range or things like that. You know, very small details.
I'm glad you brought that up as well, because I was sat there watching this thinking, why the hell has she got her keys up there?
Yeah.
It just seems such an awkward place. And Steph and Ed, coming onto the process, obviously you guys all sort of knew each other beforehand, but what was it about this story and these characters that made you think, oh yeah? Because to me, it kind of feels like a bit of an actor's dream, these two roles. So what was it that made you guys want to jump in head first?
When Linda and James sent me the script, I read it so quickly, and it was like reading one of those crime horror novels. It was just you couldn't put it down. You just wanted to keep reading to the end. And so the script was so good. It was so well written. It was an easy thing to get excited about. Absolutely, I couldn't wait. And Layston was so well written. I just couldn't wait to do it. I need to say those lines. Yeah, it was very an easy choice.
And how do you like? I'm not going to do any kind of spoilers or anything like that, but it is quite a tense shot, and rightly so. But how do you get your head in that mode? And you talk about reading all the lines. You don't have a massive great deal of lines, but how do you get yourself in that mode?
What are your last 5 lines, Ed? It's something like okay.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, that yeah, dude.
That's what we cast.
That was one of them. I was just that. It just says. I think is it HMM or something. I just had an instinct. I was like, there's no description. There's no sort of internal dialogue of what's going on in Layston's mind at that point. But I was just like, yeah, I get it.
That Kevin is really the reason why you need to cast Ed for those kinds of roles, is because if you have very minimal dialogue and you need an actor to fill that. Because if you literally just do that, then it's going to be very underwhelming. Ed's kind of the perfect actor to fill out that internal life, if you want.
So what you're saying is, if you're going to make a silent movie, cast Ed.
Yes, I'm going to have to learn my lines.
And Steph, this is you're very much carrying the shot, and I mean you both are, but Steph, your role's quite intense. You're very emotional. You're in that moment. And how did you approach this character?
I just tried to make her as human as possible, really, and I think that makes, as a human. But I personally, I'm obsessed with crime drama. I love any kind of police drama is my thing. And so I remember reading this script when they first wrote it, and I remember reading it and then going, who are you? Who's playing PC Morgan? Literally just willing them to say you. Because I was like, this has got me written all over it. I'm obsessed with this stuff. And yeah, so I just wanted, the whole premise of the film is about the human behind the uniform, and so it was trying to just make her as for people to kind of empathize with her and feel for her and not just see, oh, it's a police officer in a uniform. It's like, yeah, there's so much more to it than that. And so I think that's kind of what was going on, and just trying to kind of how I would respond in each moment and each thing that's thrown at her. And yeah, but again, I was very much working with Linda and James, and how how to approach each kind of scene, and it was, you know, it was a bit of a gift of a role, really, and a gift of an experience, because we are, you know, we've worked together for so many years, and they know me as an actor, so they know how to get the best out of me. So I couldn't, you know, I couldn't not go into it as much as I possibly could, because they know, no, you can do more than that, and you can give more than that, and this is how we want to get that out of you. So and I think probably Ed would agree, it was just a bit of a, you know, a gift of a shoot, really.
A little bit about the sort of the rest of the crew and everything, because a crucial vital thing about this shot, and you touched on it a little bit just a minute ago, is the score. It's the sound, which is absolutely, like, I don't really use this word often when it comes to like short films and whatnot, but your score is very delicious. You know, it's very Moorish. It really tickles the earlobes, and I think you've done a fantastic job with it. Who did you get on board to do your sound, and how did you approach that?
Well, we had Joe Beal on sound design, and his team at Boom. They did. He won the BAFTA for Chernobyl, and he just worked on like things like Slow Horses. Nice. So he was doing sound, and then Joseph O'Brien was on music, who we'd worked with before on Man of the Hour. And he did a great score for that film as well. So it's two very separate things, then working in unison. So with regards to like things like the score,
Joseph was very unhappy to hear that we wanted the music to start from the middle of the film, which meant he would have to be benched for the first half of the film. So
but he did come round.
Yeah.
We were at a screening of the film a couple of weeks ago, and he was like, you know, the point where the music comes in, that is just the right point to come in, and yeah. You know, we did have to sort of like, you know,
it was hard. It was very difficult, because what, you know, music has to do a lot of the time is set things up in the first half and pay things off in the second half. And for him, he was like starting, and we were talking with him about this a lot during the music composition, and going, okay, how are we gonna pay things off without setting things up? You know, if there's themes that are being paid off, how are they paid off without having played them ever before? So it's very difficult to do, and he did an excellent job kind of tackling that problem. And then the other thing we wanted to do is that, you know, everybody who will see the film will notice, or hopefully not notice, that the music sort of sneaks in right in the middle through the back door. And that was something that Joseph worked on for a while, kind of how to sneak in.
And to find the right tone as well, because
yeah.
it's one of those things where you can kind of overscore a film in terms of you trying. The music is the truth of the backbone of whatever the story is, but there's a danger that you can kind of comment too much on too many things, and particularly like some of the tense scenes where, as Ed was saying, you know, it's not about, you know, the, oh my gosh, there's a criminal in a room. It's more about the connection between the characters. There were conscious decisions of like, okay, if we have music here, we don't want it to be, you know, dun 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 scary music, but at the same time it is a tense thing. So there were times where it's like, okay, we won't have music again, and then we'll bring in the music at just the right point when a certain narrative shift happens. But again, that music can't reinforce the wrong emotions that you know, where you want the audience to come away with. It has to be the right thing, which is always about this connective element.
So generally the split that you see between the music and the sound design is really that sound design picked up this first half of the film and had to work super hard, because where you normally have music, there was nothing. So they're doing, with, you know, the great team that Joe has, they're building this whole sound world to give you the emotions that you need for the first half, and then Joseph kind of takes over with the music and puts the emotional element in mostly, whereas the suspense element really, when you're really listening, comes predominantly from the sound design to make that
that's all the absence of music.
Yeah, very much comes from the sound design, not so much from the music. The music puts the heart in.
Well, it absolutely works, and it heightens the performance when you've got two actors who are just sort of just kind of looking at each other and trying to figure each other out, and you know, having that moment together. So it completely works. And I just want to big that up, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard that before. And in terms of our two actors, like, how closely did you guys work on that kind of scene, or was it a case of I'm going to have my dinner over here, you have yours over there?
No, well, Steph and I, we've known each other since we met in 2005, and we've been popping into each other's lives kind of by accident ever since. So Steph and I we could write a book on the amount of times we've bumped into each other over the past 20 years by complete coincidence and accidents, and worked together on something. And so I could work with Steph for the rest of my life. It's a dream to work with Steph. And no, I certainly would eat my dinner opposite her.
Yeah, I think we're very used to working with each other, I think. So I think even just reading that script, when I read it, and I think I said to Linda and James, I was like, Ed's playing Layston, isn't he? Like I could just tell. I did the same
thing. I was like, that's Steph. It's Steph's film, right? Like, that's Steph.
And so
that's so cool.
He obviously surprises me, like, anyway. But I have an idea of what he's going to bring to the role. So it was already kind of, and we did, we rehearsed before we shot as well. We had rehearsals, and so it was very much kind of worked through before we got to the shoot day.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that. We had rehearsals to make sure that all the handcuffing and things went smoothly, because we needed to make that look like you've been doing that for 15 years of your whole career or something. So that was.
Did you practice on your poor Nate, your friend from across the road?
Yes. I did. I got around and just was like, okay, look, can I just handcuff you? And then
no, that's a conversation.
Yeah.
Different movie.
From the police consulting to try and make it look authentic. Steph put quite a few hours into making that look like she'd been doing it for ages. And then we had performance rehearsal as well. We spent some time doing the scenes that you two have together, the two scenes in the back room.
And we also had the opportunity to sit down with the police officer and just ask those questions that just to do a little bit of world building. Because it's such an unbelievable story. You need to hear it from the horse's mouth.
Absolutely. So any creator, any actor, anybody who works on a movie can tell me what's wrong with their movie. They can always do that because you all just like to berate yourselves. I don't know why. I think it's the artist within you. But what I like to ask is, when you see this movie up on the big screen, or when you see this movie with an audience, what do you see up there that you're proud of? Something that you love, something that was maybe a hard day, but you guys absolutely nailed it and it looks amazing.
I mean, I think it's kind of like a collective thing, but this film was in development for ages because the lockdown just kept on delaying it. And it was going to be made like 2 or 3 times before we finally did make it. I think from moment of hearing that story to releasing this year, I think it's been about a 4-year process, the whole thing. And what was really lovely about the film is that everyone that was attached to the film, like all the creatives, the cast, all the heads of departments in the crew, they signed on like way back in 2020, and they stuck through it. Like the whole, like they were still, every time we were bringing it back on, trying to get it up and running again, they were still all like, yeah, we're available, we're still committed to this film, we're still going to do it. And we eventually got it made. So watching the film, I think the thing I'm the most proud of is the fact of the perseverance of every single person involved in the film. Made not only a really good film that they can all be proud of, and I think everyone's work, from like costume, sound, lighting, camera, like everything, is everyone's doing their best. It's some of their best work that I've seen them do, and so they've made a really good short film, and the fact that they stuck with it. So it's like a monument to perseverance and hard work, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm reminded of that literally every single time I watch it.
Yeah, it's a hell of an answer. Anyone else got any moments?
Yeah, but mine's so silly. My favourite shot is the one where Steph leaves the room for the first time, and then it just lingers on me for a moment. It's just my back, and I look, and then I just look at that little cup. There's a little cup. It's my favourite shot. I don't know why.
It's perfect.
It is a good shot, to be fair.
I probably have, my proudest moment probably was the drive-in at the beginning.
Oh yeah, shot, yeah.
Like, I have such similar feelings to James about this, though, with regards to getting it done. Because I first read the script in August 2020, and like for it to now be getting released and people to be seeing it, it's brilliant. But that first shot of driving in, and you know, and the camera pans up, and then I appear in the wing mirror. It was I think it was about 5 a.m. and the light was coming up, and it was like I had this one chance to get this shot correct, like right, and the pressure to just drive this car and get it in the exact right position to say the line and to go into the. It was like, I have to get this right. I have to get this right, and to kind of nail it and then watch it on the screen and be like, oh wow, yeah, you know, it was like tick. Oh.
I think that's like the very last take, and it was the only usable take as well. Like it was I think we did something like 4 or 5 takes for that shot. We were losing the night, like the sun was rising. You could hear in the original sound before Joe did his wonderful work, you could hear the morning birds tweeting. And there were so many technical problems, like, you know, there was, you know, Rory operating camera with like accidentally getting into the reflection, or Steph just ever so slightly overshooting the car, or there was like, you know, a performance consideration. And literally that last take is perfect performance, perfect technicals, like everything's wet. It was literally the only take we had that was usable. And it's one of those ones where if that shot doesn't work, we don't have any coverage of that of that opening. It's literally, that is how the film opens. It's a one-er. How do you know, and it was all the last stuff. So yeah.
So again, you can really only do that with a crew and a cast that you can trust to that level where you're going, we do the shot, we burn. You know, it's just, we do the shot, and that's probably the pressure that Steph felt driving that car. Because you know, if you get that an inch out, if you park the car an inch in the wrong place, or camera is, you know, half an inch in the wrong place, it's not going to work.
That's so cool. It's the little things you don't think about, isn't it? But then when you see them up on the screen, you're like, damn, that smashed it. you just get out of the car and you're like, bosh. So what's next for Under the Blue? Obviously you're on the festival circuit right now. We're showing you at Romford on Sunday the 26th of May. Time to go into my pimpage mode. May 7 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. on Screen 7. Please do check it out. But what's next after that? Where do we go with this show?
Yeah, well, actually this Thursday, for anyone who's in Cannes, it's playing this Thursday in the American Pavilion during the Cannes Film Festival, in the American Pavilion's Emerging Filmmaker Showcase. Then it's Romford on Sunday. We're playing there. Then going forward, we're going to have our German premiere this summer. We're going to be doing some other exciting festivals in the UK. So anyone from Brighton will be able to see it at Brighton Rocks in the summer. So there's going to be some Bute Street in August in Luton. And what we're seeing is that those are BIFA qualifying festivals. So the film's already qualified for BIFA-entry. So the film's going to submit for BIFA-entry this summer. I think we're going to start seeing like maybe some of the international premieres here and there, and see how we're going to run over the next half year into the winter. But I think it'll be very exciting, because in the last couple of weeks, Under the Blue's been lucky enough to pick up a few awards and nominations. Steph's been nominated a couple of times for Best Actress. Various different departments have been nominated. Rory has won for cinematography for this film. And the film's won, I think, 3 Best Film Awards now: Best Crime, Best UK Short at Unrestricted View Film Festival in London. And it won Best Overall Film, the Wolf Award at Wolverhampton. So we're really thrilled, because we're getting, these great Best Short awards. So I think it's very exciting to see. I'm just excited at this point to kind of see how the run continues and what we can do.
And you absolutely should be, because you've created this really bloody tense piece that sort of just sits with you for the next couple of hours when you're finished, and you start telling people about it, and I think you've done a fantastic job. I'm not going to hype it up far too much for you guys, because then I'll just come off like a fanboy, but I do genuinely think that Ed and Steph, both your performances are fantastic, and I think James and Linda, you've done a wonderful job with this short, so you guys should absolutely pat yourselves on the back when you can. So,
Thank you very much.
I've got one. We're going to start wrapping it up in a little bit, but I've got one question that I like to finish off with that will make everybody hate me. But before we do that, I need to ask, what's everybody's favourite meal deal sandwich?
Meal deal sandwich.
Egg mayo.
So not the BLT.
No. Oh yeah.
Oh come on! Did nobody actually see where I was going with that?
I got it.
Honestly.
I mean, you have seen the movie, right?
Cheese ploughmans for me.
Nice.
And
James?
Chicken and tomato salad.
I like it.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the BLT, actually. Yeah. I think I wrote that line.
It's the
Yeah.
Yeah, might have been
he's a classic.
chicken salad or the
Yeah.
BLT, and Linda won out.
I wrote the line, yeah.
So my final question, and then we'll wrap it a little bit, is it's the old desert island question. Of course, yeah. So we're going to get 4 answers here, which is awesome because we've not had 4 answers yet. And basically, you're on the desert island. You've got one movie for the rest of your life. I need one from each of you. However, the nerdly twist, the Kevin Halden twist, is that you have to have remade that movie, and your version is the version you have.
Oh,
Just
I
a nice
know how
easy
to.
one.
That's an easy one for me.
Go on then.
I'll go. Jaws.
Jaws. You
Jaws.
can't remake Jaws.
Well, if I've only got allowed one film and I also have to remake it, then I'll pick something I like. And if I'm on a desert island as well, I can film it there.
I like that. Practical. Anyone else?
My favourite
Ed's
film is Overboard.
Overboard. Nice.
Overboard, and I would play that with the role.
You'd be Goldie Hawn.
I'd be Goldie Hawn. I feel like I can quote that film to death.
I directed for you, Steph. I really like that.
Thank you.
Has anybody noticed that Ed's really thinking about this?
Well, it's really hard because you can't pick your favourite film and then remake it. What if I ruin it? And then I'm stuck on this island with this terrible movie and I'm in it.
Didn't think about that.
Assuming that the premise is that you can make it good.
Okay, so if I pick a bad movie and then make it perfect.
Yeah.
I don't want to offend any bad movies.
I was going to say, what you picking now then? Because this could get dicey.
No, I'm gonna one of my favourite movies is Labyrinth, and so I'll do a remake of that. I'll do a 2024 hash on it, but it's not a remake. It's just like it's a companion to the original, which is a work of art. So there we go.
And would you keep the David Bowie crotch cup, or?
Depends who's playing. Depends who's playing that part.
And Linda, do you have a choice here, or are you just going to try and sneak out?
No, I think it is a very difficult question. I think I'd have to go with my sort of uni years obsession was Minority Report, and that's actually a film that I've fantasized about remaking at some point. So that's the kind of story that I think, like a kind of like a sci-fi, but psychological, but thrilling remake of that. I think that's the.
Actually, can I change my answer? If I'm to remake it, I think I'd actually do Jurassic Park, but I'd do it closer to the original novel, because it's very different from the movie. Just as like something about what Ed said about it being a companion piece is quite nice. It's like if it was like Jurassic Park's a really good film, but if there was like another one that was like the really horrifically graphic and very adult novel version, that could also be cool. So yeah, I'd probably do that. And I like dinosaurs a lot.
I do kind of love the fact that our two directors are like, oh yeah, we'll remake Spielberg. Right guys. So Sunday the 26th of May, 7 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. over on Screen 7. It's part of a collection of shorts. Please do absolutely go and check this out. Under the Blue, you're gonna love it. It's an absolute it's a great film, but it's gonna make you feel some different kinds of ways, and because it did me. But then I am that kind of person. So please do check all of that out. And just before we head off, would everybody like to let people know where they can find you on your social medias or anything like that, websites, and where they can check out Under the Blue? Or maybe we could have Ed give us the pitch why people should check out Under the Blue. But we'll go around the boxes.
I'm terrible at those things.
That's a Steph question.
Go on then, I'll let Steph do that one instead. But yeah.
Why they should check out Under the Blue?
Yeah.
It's because it's I feel like you've sold it really well. It's a great story that is going to have you on the edge of your seat wondering what's going to happen. And and if you like crime drama, which I love, then you'll love it. I just feel like you've sold it really well.
Oh, come on.
You really have. You're making. I'm going to go and watch it now.
Yeah, I haven't watched it for a little while. I need to watch it again.
So you're going to be chasing down Vicky McClure for that next series of Line of Duty, are you?
Don't even joke.
So
absolutely.
Where can people find everyone? Any projects that you wanna promote or anything like that? Just take 2 seconds to give yourselves a bit of pimpage.
If you really, really want to, I'm not promising much, but you can follow me on the socials, EdWhite84.
I am at that Steph Parry. And if you really want to find me, then pop over to China and you can see me in Mamma Mia.
Nice. Who are you playing in Mamma Mia?
Donna.
Nice.
Hence why I'm now blonde.
My daughter, I love that. My daughter will absolutely love that. She's a big musical fan. And our two directors, where can people find us?
What's our Instagram?
We're at Linda Ludwig _James Curle, because we share everything, including social media.
It is a very, it's not just like co-directing, is it? It's like co-inhabiting.
Yeah, it's everything.
Coexisting.
Yeah.
I love it. Right, guys, thank you so much for doing that. This has been an absolute blast. And again, everybody, Under the Blue, Sunday the 26th of May, 7 p.m. till 9:30 p.m, Screen 7. I'm not saying it's an hour and a half long, because it is a short.